This video, I'm going to be breaking down how to turn a small business or startup into a multi 7 or 8 figure plus size business. For those that you don't know me, my name is Grant Mitt. I built an 8 figure business by the time I was 25 years old. I have a podcast that's listened to in 139 countries, and I help entrepreneurs all across the world scale and grow their businesses. And I want to give you advice that I wish I knew early on, and it will alter the way that you do business. The first thing that you want to do is analyze your entire business. This sounds very simple, but nobody knows your business better than you. And the first thing you need to do is diagnose the business. Look at what inputs are creating the outputs that are occurring, meaning how many cold outreaches do your sales reps do per day? How much money do you spend on ads? What actions do you and your people take every day that creates the current output that you have right now? You want to analyze your numbers. What is your customer acquisition cost? What is the cost per appointment? What is the cost per lead? What is the lifetime value once you get a customer? What products you have? What is the margin? All these things you want to diagnose. Do you have any debt? Do you have any lines of credit? How much are the lines of credit? You need to basically quantify every single area of your business to just figure out, what do we have here? It doesn't matter if it's good, it's bad, you wish it was better. You need to just know what you're dealing with. Just this alone, I've done this exercise, and before I gave them homework to do it, I'll jump on a call with them, and they said, Grant, I know we were supposed to talk about this, but I ran all the numbers and I realized I'm wasting $300,000 a year. I already made the necessary changes. We can talk about the next step. Because you, as a listener right now, your business, you know more about it than any single person. It doesn't matter who's helping you, anything. When you know the numbers of your business, without getting any advice, you're going to likely make it better because you know what now the problems are. And that's what numbers do. It cuts through the BS. It lets you know where you're at. Okay, so number one, analyze. Number two, systemize. Okay, so once we have assessed everything, we need to make the business run more smoothly and pull you away from all of the headaches, the small mundane tasks, and things that don't actually move the needle forward and grow it. Okay, so what you're gonna do is write out on a sheet of paper or the notes in your phone, and you could do this right now, or you can pause it and you can go grab a sheet of paper, but this is so important. I want you and any executive or co-founder that you have to write down every task that you do throughout the week that isn't critical thinking skills, that doesn't require critical thinking skills, that isn't a high leverage task, meaning you talking to 10 people who work 40 hours a week each, or doesn't generate revenue for the business. All right, this could be you looking through resumes. This could be you scheduling appointments. This could be you doing accounting. This could be tracking customers' information when you close them, or leads, or whatever the case may be. Basically anything that doesn't require any form of critical thinking skills and doesn't move the needle, but you got to do it. Administrative BS tasks. Also, I would put on there things like going to the grocery store, cleaning your house, cooking food, picking up kids from school, anything that isn't generating revenue but takes your time. In total, we'll first put what that task is and then how many hours you're spending. And I'll have people do this, and I did this myself early on, and I'm like, holy cow, I'm wasting 28, 30 hours a week doing things that I don't even like doing. And you're like, whoa. The next thing that you're gonna do, the third step, is you're going to delegate. Okay, so it depends on the business, but generally what I recommend is to first delegate the administrative task. You can usually do this through a virtual assistant that is anywhere between $4 to $6 an hour. You can create a standard operating procedure with one of the AI tools with video, and then you can make videos so they can watch everything. You train them for 2 weeks, and you can essentially delegate every administrative task in your business. It could be cold outreach, this could be scheduling appointments. There can be so many different things that you can do that can be trained with someone else that's gonna work harder, that's gonna put in the hours, and you can not only pay them hourly, but you can incentivize them for how good their performance is and pay them. And what's going to happen then is, now the next thing I would do is to maximize your business. Okay, so let's backtrack this for a second. The first thing, you analyzed everything in your business. 2, you started building systems for everything, for a 1.0 version. 3, you started delegating all of the administrative tasks so you can get your creativity back. Now we're going to maximize the business. All right. So what we're going to do here is grow it. The reason why I didn't say grow it at the beginning is because we don't know if it's going to work. We don't know what's right or wrong in the business. The business wasn't set up to grow. But now that we've built systems on, this is what you say when you cold outreach someone. This is what happens when you get on a call. This is what happens when we onboard a new customer. All of these things are now systemized. You have standard operating procedures for everything. You have now, you and maybe if you have a co-founder or key executives have got back 20 to 30 hours. You now got back your creativity. Without me telling you what to do next, you're already going to likely grow your business. But let's talk about this. For you to grow your business, especially from a 6 to 7 figures or 7 to 8 figures plus, or an 8 to 10, you need one big thing. You need to increase the company's output. You do this in 4 key areas. The first area is content, which is ads or organic free content on social media. You need more people to know about you, right? You can do this in a multitude of ways. Number 1 is paid ads. That's obvious. Okay, paid ads work. You need to make sure you have at least a 3-to-1 ratio on your LTV to CAC, meaning you spend $1, you get $3 back. That's a good minimum that's going to keep you profitable. 5-to-1 is even better. 10-to-1 is fantastic. And if you're anything above that, you're going to be very, very rich, although you'll probably be rich even with a 5 or a 10. Okay? So increase your output. Organic, you need more people to know about your brand, your business. You need content going out every single day. The third way, which is huge, is UGC creators. And this is also in part with collaboration with people. So I'll go ahead and talk about that one. So we talked about content, next is collaboration. So the first form of collaboration is through paying commission to people who market your brand or sell for your brand. Okay, I have one of my friends, his name's Hudson. He has the fastest growing e-commerce brand in the world right now. It's called Comfort. I also have one of my good friends, Lucas. I just had a podcast with him. I was just on it with James Dumoulin from School of Hard Knocks. And Lucas has just scaled past 500K per month. I think he said he's on track to do eventually, I think by the end of this year, over 1 million, which is incredible. How are they doing this? They have tens and tens and tens, and then Hudson has over 500 UGC creators that are leveraging TikTok Shop and getting a commission. So if you go out and get an army of creators that are getting commission for selling and talking about your product, you will increase your output tremendously because you're borrowing not only their brand, their followers, but anybody else that's going to see organic content, and you will get more credibility because it's great coming from the founder for sure, but when it's coming from someone else, it has to be good because they're also sold on the product, the vision, the service, whatever you do. Okay, collaboration also, we talked about virtual assistants, but next you want to look for drivers to scale your business. I usually recommend after you've delegated the administrative tasks to look for people to drive revenue. We talked about UGC creators. The next thing you're going to do is scale your sales operation. One of the best ways that I scaled my first business from scratch to 5.6 million year 1 to just under 12 million year 2, and then almost doubling it again year 3, getting Inc. magazine 285% growth, all this stuff. It was not because I knew tech. It was not because I was this genius operator. It was because I knew how to run and build sales teams. And you have to figure out a blueprint, a playbook that not you and your co-founder, not your first hire, but people that you don't know that you're hiring from Indeed and LinkedIn can come in, follow a playbook. They know what to say, when to say it, how to close, how to do contracts, how to process everything, and get it across the finish line. Now, you've already focused on increasing your amount of people that know your business. You've increased your ad spend. This is super important. We talked about content. You got to increase your ad spend to make more money. It's sometimes that simple. You're getting more leads into the business. Now you have sales reps that are trained on what to say, how to say it. They have video reference. They've seen you or your co-founder or whoever the case is closing. And now you have a system that's replicatable. Okay. When I really went to the next level, I was telling this, I was just on a call with someone earlier, company I'm invested in. And I was telling them, look, like year 2, once I figured out all this delegation stuff, I would go like 1, 2 o'clock and my phone hadn't ring once. And we've done $150,000 in revenue. And I'm like, this is insane. But why did this happen? I created systems that help grow and scale my business. And all those people were incentivized to do those actions. Their numbers were managed through KPIs and through management and through leadership and trainings daily and all these different things. And so we want to increase our output. Okay, so we talked about content. We talked about collaboration with people. Here also with collaboration, you want to start hiring specialists. This is where you need to stop doing things yourself. You need to hire an expert to handle and set up all of your tech stack, meaning your CRM, project management software, payroll software, all of these things, any automations, auto text, auto emails, everything. You want to hire specialists for anything that you need to know. Legal counsel. This is important. This helps so much as your business gets bigger. You got contracts with employees, contracts with other companies, hopefully, but you may eventually have lawsuits. You want to make sure you find a good lawyer, pay him on retainer that knows how to get you stuff. You need to send out cease and desist letters. All these things are really important as you become a big business. Okay, so we got content, collaboration, next code. We talked about that, hiring a specialist. You want to find a way to automate every area of your business. A good way to do this is to ask you or your team, co-founders, whatever, and said, what do I wish was automated? Like, what do I have to do every single day that if it was automated by either AI or just even a CRM, it would make you and your people's lives better? Go on Upwork, hire an automation specialist with Zapier and say, hey, these are my dreams. Is this possible? They're likely going to say yes. And you can have them come in, automate a lot of your software. Okay, and fourth, this last one is capital, right? You only have so much money in the world. Good credit can change your life. And as you're showing a profitable growth in your business, you can access capital, not always only in a form of a credit card, but you can get a line of credit, you can get working capital where you're paying 10% more, 15% more. Total is like just paid in cash and not interest. You can also go out and raise a seed round and get more money. But when you have more capital, you can deploy it to hire more people, increase ad spend, improve your products and services, and grow and scale your business. There's a reason why the biggest companies in the world raise the most money. And one of the things that I learned that helped us grow so quickly in my first companies is I would go out and get massive lines of credit because we were so profitable and we had good cash flow. So banks were very comfortable lending us money because I had a strong LTV to CAC ratio. I knew that, look, I spend $1, I get $8.8 back. And I talked about our cash flow structure and when we get paid and how we get paid and what our biggest costs were. And I could sit there with bankers and break down our entire model in 20 minutes. They're like, okay, cool. Let's get this process. We can give you X, Y, Z. We can do this. And they're hugging me and treating me all nice because I know my numbers. I can pull up the financials to prove it. And I knew what I was doing. And that put lighter fluid on the fire. And that's what you need to do your business. And that's why I'm saying, first, you got to know what the hell's going on. 2, you got to systemize and create a process for every area of your business. 3, you got to assess where you're spending your time and delegate it. And then 4, you got to light it on fire and go scale that thing. And this is when you as a CEO, because remember we've delegated your time, you now know that you can focus on the most important parts of your business. And you're not spending your energy doing crap that you don't like. You're like, man, what if we did this? What if we do this? What if we do this? You start getting all these creative ideas because now you finally have your brain back. You're not doing wasted tasks like a little admin or intern. You're the CEO of the company or the co-founder. You should be working on the most important problems and you should utilize your creative brain so you can build the company that you want. And I'll tell you, you don't realize how intelligent and smart and capable and creative you are until you get that energy back. And when you do, man, I'm telling you, it is going to change your life. I just helped my friend Santiago. I had him as a consulting client. And when he first came to me, he was a sales rep for a roofing company. He told me everything about him. I said, man, what if we just started a roofing company? And in 65 days, and this isn't normal, I would say, but we've had some crazy results. He went from 0 to $1 million in revenue. And the coolest part was not only the money that he was making, him and his team, But when I first was meeting with him, it was hard to talk to him because he was in 3-4 appointments a day selling. And he'd say, Grant, 3 o'clock happens and I don't know what to do. He's like, what do I do in this situation? And it was cool because he now not only was making more money, not only hiring great people, not only growing a successful business, but the engine was moving because we set up all these systems and processes, and he hired good people, had good training, knew what to do, and it changed his life for the better because now he's running the business instead of the business running him. So I hope this helped, guys. I hope this saved you 5 years of time. Obviously, this is a quick, less than 20-minute video. But if you guys want guidance, I'm doing a 90-day mentorship group with 10 entrepreneurs. If you guys would like to apply, you're interested, there's a link below, grantmittconsulting.com. Click the link, book a quick call. Also, you guys can follow me on all my social media channels at Grant Mitt. Other than that, guys, I'm rooting for you. My goal with this channel is to give you guys so much value that even if you watch this, you'll stop me on the side of the road someday or at some event or something and say, man, dude, I implemented this stuff. I changed my life. I helped my family. And that's what this is all about, living the dream and making an impact for our family, our communities, and everything in between. So much love, guys. Thank you for the support. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, like, comment below, and click the link if you guys are looking for guidance. Talk soon, guys. Cheers.